Stories are not only kept by writing them down. We sing our stories, etch in rock, paint, and print our stories. We dance our stories. We speak our stories, exhale our histories. Stories will survive because of this. They are narratives we hold on to. They have a lasting effect, a lasting power. When my ancestors spoke their stories, your ancestors too. They spoke of deeds of epic adventure, where underlying lessons, values, and morals are revealed. They uttered words that create scenes and tell of battles, of creatures, of love. They spoke of me and you, their future. The layers of story run deep. It is old. The story behind the story within the story. Are we able to hear those stories too? When I tell story, I honor all who told stories before me. I honor ancestors. I come into their circle, seated in an unbroken circle. The power of story lives on. Shall you too take your seat in this circle? Welcome. Be seated. The first Moʻolelo, or story that I bring forward and I share, always will I credit a grandmother, the sole source, if you will, of this Moʻolelo. Yes, a Waimea native, Grandma Mary Kalani Phillips. It is by her words, her recollection. She says, in the homelands of Waiaka, please see a group of boys. And they prepare in the morning, early morning it says, they prepare for a favorite pastime that the boys, the youth of Waimea would do. Hawai'i manu, bird fishing. And so like all fishermen would need to prepare in getting bait, the boys dig eli in the soils, what she says the rich soils of Waiaka, to retrieve the chrysalis. This is their bait, the maunu that these bird fishermen utilize to catch bird here in Waimea. After filling buckets, it says that the boys are makau, ready to ascend and climb this hill of Hoku'ula. There, the fishing grounds of the Lawai'a Manu. The boys arrive, Grandma say, and cast their lines, and then noho ma'alie. They sit still, quiet. The particular bird, Grandma Kalani says, that they fish for are the kolea. So like all fishing, it's a seasonal practice. The boys retrieve enough manu, enough bird, and then one of the friends say to the group of boys, let's go to kohau to swim. Another favorite pastime of the youth of Waimea. The boys, it says, have been taught prior entry into this lovely pool of kohau, you must throw in a tea leaf and you wait for the sign. If your tea leaf on this particular day floats, you have permission. You can enter and swim in this cold waters of kohau. However, if your tea leaf will piholo, sink, do not enter. You have not the permission of the resident mo'oahine, Manaua, to swim today. However, on this particular day, the tea leaf floats and the boys say, great, in they go. If you could imagine the group of boys happily swimming, enjoying. The story shifts. And it says that they notice that one of their friends has not surfaced. They begin to search for him, and they yell, and they dive down, and they search for this friend, and they are not able to find him. They go until they can't, until they give up. Ha'awi pio. They return home and they call to their parents and they relay forward what had happened. And they ask, did you folks put the tea leaf? Yes, we did. Did it float? Yes, it did. The elders will then say, it was Manaua, the mo'o wahine, the resident. She perhaps took a liking to this boy, handsome. Perhaps he was a good swimmer. We know not the reasons, but that Manaua has decided to keep this boy, this young lad of Waimea, for herself. The elders then forward more information and say, you will find tucked in Waimea a large rock that bears her name, Manaua. You can go to this place, space, and give offerings for, in its name, Ua, rain. That for Waimea, it always be a place of rain. And to Manaua, the offerings are given and the prayers are lifted. They further say that you could see Manaua. There on the rock that bears her name outstretched, her kino mo'o, her mo'o body, olala ikala, sunbathing. And she will warm herself and warm her body there. When she is done, she retreats to her watery home, the rivers and streams that meander through the landscape, the hillsides of Waimea. Such is the story of Manaua, the mo'o wahine of Koha Kohau. Eyala Hawai'i. The daughters of Grandma Kalani are in the garden, in their yard, mahi'ai with Grandma Kalani. And they ask Grandma, Mama, what are these? We find so many of these here in our yard. This is when Grandma Kalani speaks the story. And she says, oh, these pohaku, these are the pohaku kapili manu. You know, the Lawai'a manu, the bird fishermen, the boys. Yeah, this is their sinker stone. Pohaku kapili manu, the rock that pili or secures the bird. You see etched from usage, time and time again, season after season, the wrapping of the line on this artifact, a fishing stone. And so any chance I get to climb Hoku'ula, I take this pohaku with me and I lay it out on the grass. Perhaps for the memory of the pohaku, of this time where it was used, its purpose and its function to retrieve and catch bird, by which the boys and the people of Waimea would eat, the kolea bird. So to return this to the hillsides of Waimea, particularly to Hoku'ula, I believe is one of the reasons that the aunties gave this to me, to also be the repository, the keeper of Grandma's stories, and to tell them forward. Then to have it come forward in the vision and visioning of these lovely HPA students, and to have their rendering of Manaua grace this wall is fitting. So to Grandma Kalani, to that lineage, to Manaua, the mo'o wahine of these streams and rivers of Waimea, to the artifacts that help us recall and remember this time, this practice of Lawai'a Manu in Waimea. We hold these stories, we hold the memory, and then we pass it forward. Mahalo. I ka pili o ka wanao, eli ia ka lepo o ia ka e. I ka pi'i e o nā lawai a manu, I ke ia ka nani o hoku ulae. I ke kakele ana I ke kipu'upu'u, noho mali e ia ka maopi oe. I ka au ana I ukalai, ai ka manu I luna e. He mele no ko hā ko hau, ia oi e Manaua.